This is Sunday, March 15th, 2018. I started my journal at 8:08 a.m. in Post Falls, Idaho. Weather, overcast, with threat of rain. I did transcription jobs the last few days. That eats a huge chunk of time whenever I do it, but I'll have to continue on into next week, as I still don't have quite enough to pay all the bills yet in May. However, by the end of May, I should be on firmer ground financially. I would like to think of myself as a retired artist, crafter, traveler type of person for a while rather than someone needing to earn more money to pay bills. It will happen. Anyhow, change the subject. I've been watching YouTube junk journal videos to get more ideas from all the expert junk journalers out there. Do you realize there are people selling junk journals on Etsy for over $50? What a lot of money people are willing to pay for these. They can make beautiful, unique gifts, and I would like to develop my journal crafting style. I'm therefore changing my intentions for the binding of my junk journal. Rather than staples, I want to sew the binding, really learn bookbinding, and use better paper rather than all newsprint. The problem is there always a challenge involved? The problem is the size of the cover. I need paper that is at least 9 by 15, an unusual size. I can fill with some smaller sheets as well. I do have some nice watercolor paper I could cut down to that size, but I don't want to use that exclusively. So now I'm on a paper hunt. Maybe today after church I'll find some good papers. Meanwhile, I started on the February page of the 2018 Art Journal project. My inspiration is a patchwork quilt with hearts on it. This newsprint, I thought it would be fun to leave some in because I was thinking, my grandchildren or somebody years from now might be looking through this thing and really enjoy looking at the advertisements in this shopping newspaper from 2018. So there's the junk journal project. It's currently on hold while I locate better papers of the right size to put in it. Now this is another project that I made since I started doing these experimental videos and picking things out of the jar to inspire my work. This is my Lift Up the Light of Your Countenance Upon Us, O Lord, Bible verse painting. So I have more that I've done since I started, and that's this art journal, which I'm probably going to be working on later on today after I get back from church. It's my 2018 art journal. I did the January page. I've already shown this on the other videos, and now I'm doing the February page, which is inspired by an imaginary quilt. I'm using the hearts as the traditional symbol of February, and basically what I've got here, penciled in quilt pattern, which is pretty plain as you can see, and then every other square has a heart in it. And I'm going to be painting the hearts, and I will also go into my February journals and pull out some lines to put in the alternate squares. So the page should be completely full by the time I get done with it, which hopefully will not be too long from now. I was looking at a lot of videos done by other YouTubers yesterday, and I found videos by this woman, and she was using composition books for what she called a faux bonichi, which I guess is a thing here on YouTube that I just never heard of before. And basically, instead of buying the expensive Hobonichi journals, they were making their own little journals, sort of, and I just loved her style. It was absolutely beautiful. I recommend her videos to you. But this is one that I actually started last year, and just like with the junk journal, I used Mod Podge to put some paper on that I had decorated with my jelly plate on both sides. This is the back cover, the front cover, and I was using this, I started to use it to practice lettering in. This is the inside front cover. And then I started doing some lettering practice in here, which my lettering is kind of not all that great. So I put down this. It is what it is. Right? It is what it is. Just make the best with what I've got. And then I used the Tombow markers to just experiment with the different colors together to see what I liked together. And I got that far and I quit. Now that lady, she was doing the same as me. She was putting the pages together with washi tape. And I did all this last year before I watched her video. I want you to know that. But she was putting together 3 pages at a time, and I am putting together 2 pages at a time. I might go to 3 pages. Maybe she has a good idea. I thought her videos were full of good ideas, and that's why I enjoyed watching them, because it was simple stuff that really I could incorporate into my own journaling and book creation. So, like, one thing she said in one of the videos was that these composition books are bound with thread. There's a thread going down the middle, and it's essentially just one signature. The whole book is one signature. So I could just remove this thread and have plenty of paper of the size that I need for my junk journal. So that's an alternative that I might consider. She did have a nice composition book that she got from Staples that had graph paper in it. So I thought that was really a beautiful idea. I liked the way she was doing her journals. Just so colorful and full of pictures and illustrations and very inspiring stuff. So I have a lot to learn, but I think that I kind of fit into this community and that I just need to work more on what I was already doing. So I got to the store. I went to Michael's and looked at the papers, and they were all quite expensive. I saw a couple that would work for a 9x15 paper, but they were kind of expensive, and I ended up going back to Walmart and getting this paper. It's 11x14, so it's not quite as long as I wanted, but I think it'll do. My paper will just have to be a ½ inch short, or we'll see what happens. Anyhow, it's drawing paper. It's just drawing paper, and that will help. And I got some other things that I wanted to show you. So for the binding of this book, I got 4 different things. First of all, this hemp cord I thought was very pretty. I got that in the section where they sell jewelry making supplies. And that's also where I got this waxed cord, which I think is what I'm going to use primarily to bind the pages, the signatures together before I put them in the book. And then I got this embroidery thread and this copper colored metallic sewing thread, because I am hoping that I can use these somehow while I'm making the pages. And I got some needles for the, binding the book. And then for my chalkboard project, Remember I said that I was going to take the 2 pieces of wood and connect them with a chain? Well, I got these. They're called screw eyes. I couldn't get black, so I got these, and I will paint them black so they'll match the wood. And then I got this black chain from the jewelry making supplies area. So now I have everything that I need to finish that project and to work on the book. This is the paper that came out of the drawing tablet. I believe if you count this part at the end, it would be 15 inches. So I'm going to try to preserve a bit of that. Now I have pages that are not quite long enough. I also found this scrapbooking paper in my drawers, and I will be using some of this in the book. And I also found file folders of 3 different colors that I may be using in the project. I can cut them down and use them as pages in the book as well. Well, in my book now I have a lot of papers. These are 2 signatures I'm still working on. And these are 3 that are already done. They each have 8 pages. And I'm going to need to bind them together and then bind them into the book. Yeah. I think I'll go watch some bookbinding videos so I can get some more ideas on how that's supposed to be done. Gotta get February and March done. I do have a plan for March and for April, which I should probably start doing April now because it is April. And this one, I'm going to be using gouache paint, and this is my palette. It's quite messy right now, but it's because I've been using it a lot. And, well, for this I'm really only going to be using the red. I keep my paintbrushes in this beautiful cup my son gave me. Today is the day that I'm going to paint red, and I'm going to use this nice paintbrush. Is there something smaller perhaps? This one? These paintbrushes are Princeton Neptune. I have penciled in the design here, and I want to erase most of my pencil marks. I love gouache because, you know, it's water soluble and you can just use it again and again. And I just love the way it goes on. I just love the way it looks. It's more opaque than ordinary watercolor. I've got all my hearts done now. I'm hardly done with this page though. I've just gotten started. So what I'm going to go do next is I'm going to go over some of these hearts with white. It's going to look like, this is my inspiration. My inspiration is a quilt with hearts on it. So it's going to have some quilting stitches, and it's also going to have some journaling, my actual written journaling in between the hearts. And so a lot more is to come, and it's going to have to be in the next video. Until then, thanks for watching.